What's up, my kings, queens, and trolls of YouTube? It's your girl, Queen C, back with another video. Now, I'm going to pick up where I left off in this relationship series of videos. This one is going to be about not emasculating your king, ladies. Okay, you definitely got to stop emasculating our kings. Now, I'm talking about the kings first because I realized that when the kings hear Queen C, keep it 100 for them, they're more open to listening to me talking about how we need to be treated as queens. So let me just jump right on in there. I'm going to tell you guys a quick story. Basically, I know of a female who had a good husband. He worked hard. You know, he did everything he could to provide, put a roof over his family's head. You know, he made sure his kids were in activities. He supported his wife being a stay-at-home mom, going back to school and going to college, all that kind of stuff. And, you know, his goal was to save for the future so that, you know, they can be comfortable and they can retire and have a good life. He wasn't a materialistic man, but she was a materialistic woman. She was somebody that had to have, like, you know, name brand extra expensive bags and all that kind of stuff. Now, you know, your girl Queen C, she ain't gonna lie, she likes a good bag and a nice piece of jewelry anytime, but I'm not gonna let that interfere with the plans that, you know, my husband has for our household. So anyway, what this female would do is she would run back to her daddy to get money to buy these expensive bags, you know, when her husband wasn't interested in doing those types of things. And the thing about it is that the husband, he wasn't into materialistic things, but if he fell on hard times, she wouldn't go to her daddy to get money to help pay a bill, but she would still, you know, be buying bags. She would be buying bags when this man is down and out and isn't making as much money as he was because, you know, he had to take time off because he was injured. Anyway, you know, I'm telling this story for two reasons, because here's two good examples. One of, actually it's three examples. One of emasculating your man because she was emasculating her king. Two, she was causing strife in her parents' marriage because the mom, you know, these gifts and money would be done behind the mom's back. You know, so this female, she even went behind her mom's back to get money from her dad to get like either lipo or a tummy tuck. I forget exactly what it was her fat ass got, but either way, you know, she went behind the mom's back to get the dad to help her with money for this surgery. So the mom's thinking, okay, you have your own husband. He's taking care of you. You guys have everything you want. You're living a good life. You know, me and my husband, we work hard. We're trying to, you know, save and, you know, retire and do all these things. Why are you coming up to us for money? You don't, it's not like you need help. It's not like you're in need. You're coming to us. Well, you're coming to your father for materialistic things. So, you know, they would have these arguments, and then she started causing strife in her parents' marriage because the parents would be arguing. So, you know, there you have, she's emasculating her king, she's causing strife in her parents' marriage, and her father is actually not putting his wife, his spouse first, because what he is doing is he's catering to the daughter against his wife's wishes. And it's not like somebody trying to stop, you know, them from having help if their electricity was turned off or something like that. This is over fucking bags and bellies. You know, so you it's very important to, like I said, leave, cleave, and put your spouse first, because now you have two couples with problems because this one heifer is selfish. Anyway, I have another quick story about my grandparents. My grandmother was a nag. They had 4 children, my dad and 3 siblings. 2 of the children were the dad's favorite, and 2 of the other children were the mom's favorite. Now, I hear, you know, 2 sides to every story. I know all that. My dad said that his mom was a nag and drove his dad into the arms of another woman. My aunt and uncle said that, you know, the dad was mean, he was abusive, he was a drunk. But both my grandparents were alcoholics, actually. But from what I know from being around my grandmother, she was a fucking nag, okay? Ain't no doubt about it. Now, my dad says she would always nag his father, say he didn't make enough money. You know, my grandmom liked to, you know, have like fancy parties and cook fancy meals all the time. And, you know, she just wanted to portray this life that wasn't actually realistic for their income. And and my grandfather ended up leaving her for some ugly ass woman and marrying this ugly ass woman. So again, we can't, nag our kings. If our kings are doing the best they can to take care of us and to take care of home, we can't nag them, because we know that they're getting up every day and they're going out there and they're doing whatever it is they can. You know what I mean? So don't nag your king. All right. And don't emasculate your king by going to another man, be it your father or not. Don't emasculate him by going to another man and asking him to do something for you that is materialistic and not important. If it's not helping you and benefiting your family, then don't do it. I could see if it was, help with the electricity bill, or, help getting the kids something before a fucking materialistic ass bag. You don't do stuff like that, because now you're making your husband feel like, he's not good enough for you. He's not man enough for you. Now, I know a lot of men think that women are supposed to submit. Now, I'm not going to really get into all that, because like I said in some of my other videos, I understand everybody does not, believe in God and all that kind of stuff. I believe in God. I believe in women submitting, but I also understand a lot of people take that word submit and they throw it out there all the time out of context. So very, very briefly, I'm going to say this to you queens out there. If you are a godly woman looking for a godly husband, you know what submitting means. You also know, and if you don't, you're going to learn today, that God does not want us to submit to a serial cheater. God does not want us to submit to a man that's whooping our ass. God does not want us to submit to a man who refuses to provide and lead his family. God does not want us to submit to a man that mistreats our children. God does not want us to submit to no lazy ass man who will not help us. We know this. So I want the rest of you ladies out there to understand, submitting is not just to bow down and lick some damn body's boots. God does not want us to be Miss Silly, okay? That is not what submitting is. So do not accept that word being thrown at you out of context. If a man says something to you about being submissive, he better be a godly man who's ready to lead and provide and take care of his household and treat you right and cater to you and put you first. That's where he better be coming from when he starts talking that submitting shit, okay? Now, let's move on, because like I said, that submitting, that is like something else huge, and I'll get into that one day, for my godly queens out there that want to discuss it. But right now I'm just speaking generally about emasculating our kings. We have to take care of our kings. I don't have a problem with cooking for my king, ironing his clothes, taking care of him when he's sick, rubbing his back if he had a long day, listening to the things that he has to say. I don't want to be a part of his problem. When he comes home, I want to be a part of his solution. And when he comes home and I take care of him, he does the same thing in return. He takes care of me. I don't want for nothing. I don't have to worry. I don't have to worry about him looking to be entertained by no other woman, looking to be made to feel like a man by no other woman, because I'm all he needs and he's all I need. Plain and simple, case in point. You take care of him, he will take care of you. There is nothing wrong. There is nothing wrong with catering to your man. Some of these women out there, I understand there's a lot of males out there that ain't shit. Hell, most of the kings and queens and even the trolls out here in YouTube world know that there's a lot of males out there that ain't shit. So we tend to become so independent that we don't want to give up any of our independence, once we meet that man. And I'm telling you, ladies, it is okay. It is okay. If you meet a king that's good and he wants to marry you, it's okay to let your guard down a little bit, because when you're so focused on being independent and doing everything for yourself, you make that man feel like you don't need him. And that's the last thing you want to do, is make your king feel like he's unwanted and unneeded. We tend to be, focused on one thing, and that's being independent and doing everything on our own. And I'm telling you right now, that's a single way of thinking. That's a single way of thinking. When you enter into a marriage, you are no longer single. So you have to leave that single mentality over there. You got to leave that over there. You have to enter into your new relationship with a new mentality, knowing that you are coming together with somebody else to become one. And you have to separate that single overly independent mentality from this new relationship, because if you don't, you are setting yourself up for failure. Okay, men are here to lead, provide, and protect. If we don't let them do that, they are not going to feel like men. Now, does that mean you have to all of a sudden become Florence Jefferson? No, it does not. No, it doesn't. But you have to be able to come together with this man and find out what works for both of you on how to run your household, have a healthy marriage, and raise your kids. You know what I mean? And your finances, all that kind of stuff. You have to now come together with somebody else. You can't do everything the same way you were doing things when you were single. And with that being said, letting a man be able to help, take care of bills and, add to your comfort and all that kind of stuff, that's the things that any good man will want to do. If you don't encourage him to do that and you shut him out, you are emasculating him and making him feel like less than a man and unwanted, and that's a no-no. Now, even your girl Queen C, I've had that mentality to where you couldn't tell me shit, and I ended up eating my words like a bowl of cornflakes. I told my current husband, when I met him, I had a daughter from a previous marriage, and I was like, my daughter don't need no father. She already got one. I'm looking for a companion for me, and blah, 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 blah. Told his ass real good. And guess what? When my daughter was in the hospital 2 times, guess who was sleeping on the floor? He was. When prom, recitals, parent teacher conference, driving her and her friends to the mall, if somebody was messing with her, you name it, my husband was the one that was there. Her father wasn't. Now, there's no beef. We all respect each other because it's called maturity, and I'll talk about that in another video. But I'm just saying, your girl Queen C, she wasn't exempt to that mentality. But again, I ended up eating my words, because if it wasn't for this man, there wouldn't be no father figure in the house, and he's the best father both of my daughters can have. I can't complain. So I'm glad I saw the light, and that's what I'm trying to encourage you ladies to do. I want you guys to make sure you treat your kings like the kings that they are, because they will in turn treat you like the queens that you are. And that's what the relationship is all about. The relationship is about treating each other good. There is no shame in hanging up from gossiping with your girlfriends when your man gets home and spending your time with him. There is no shame in telling your boys that you can't play video games with them or whatever when your wife comes home. You guys have to make each other a priority if you want a long lasting successful marriage. Okay, so again, my queens, cherish your kings, take care of them, make sure you make them feel like kings, and you will always be number one. Now, that's all I have for today. If you guys have any questions, you can email me at QueenChrishonda@gmail.com. And don't forget to subscribe to me. I have 730 subscribers, and I'm trying to get 1,000 by July. Peace from the Sea Hive, guys.